Okay, we're here with Lou, and he's been kind enough to give us the nickel tour. This is his rig, which he built from scratch. This is a trailer that he pulls. In fact, well, I'll just let Lou tell the story. Lou, what can you tell us about this rig?
Okay, dimensions. It's 7 foot wide and 11 feet long on the outside. The floor is 5 foot 11. As you see in the pictures, it has a overhang with corbels. 1,800 pounds finished with everything in it other than food and clothing, including solar and batteries and all the goodies. Vardo, kind of a shape, which is kind of cute. It also lends itself to construction. Low sides, keeps the weight down. Standing headroom in the center where you really need it. So you have a lightweight rig to pull. Gas economy is a major factor for most of us. It's insulated throughout, so it's cool and also stays warm. That's the basics on the outside. I use general house construction framing, 2 by 2s. It's 1.5 inch net inside. House windows that are insulated. Let's see.
Would you take us around and just let us see all the sides and describe? You know, I'd like the solar to be talked about a little bit.
On the roof, I have 300 watts. That's what I used all last year.
I don't know if I'm getting it, but there's a lot of solar. We'll try it on the other side too.
This panel was added this year as a removable panel primarily because I want to park in the shade. It's also tiltable. I have plenty with that up there. My biggest concern, I have a 12 volt only refrigerator, and I need to make sure that I always have that. Those handle it just fine with everything else.
If somebody was listening to this and they thought, well, I don't know what kind of refrigerator to get because I don't want to get the wrong one, how would you answer that?
Well, this particular one is a NovaCool from Canada with a Danfoss compressor. Very economical, low drain on power, and very reasonable in cost compared to everything else that's on.
Why would you mention the Danfoss compressor?
European technology, very quiet running, you can't hear it. It's more efficient than what's in Enigmatic, which is a general motorhome that you're buying. And they're one of the few companies that make strictly a 12 or 24 volt system. This is not, or can't be used on propane or like a 3-way or a 2-way that's in a general motor.
Gotcha.
Although I find this to be way more efficient than what's on the market.
Cool. All right, let's keep walking around.
Storage blocks for blocking, so I don't have to carry stuff in my truck. It has a home. Obviously propane. This is my batteries, 2 6 volts, and storage for battery maintenance and all the goodies. My controller's right in there with the battery system. TV for mindless nights when I want to do nothing or play a video. I use this a lot. I love having the capability of having an outside little table. It just folds up.
That folds up flush?
Yeah. Well, cool. It's almost, not quite. It's just, this is 1 inch, 3/4 inch,
right.
And this is 1.5 inches. There's just a tiny lip that comes up and it folds up in this little alcove right there. Fantastic fan. Love them. I've never needed air conditioning. Wouldn't have it. This thing stays cool enough even on the 90+ days. This trailer here is just a custom trailer I built years ago and used it for this. It's about a 3,500 pound axle. Again, it doesn't take much to support this. I mean, my 150 truck here can pull it very easy. You can pull this thing with a SUV easily.
This looks pretty nice. do you have experience, before you built this, did you have any experience building stuff?
Oh yeah, I built a few things. I was a boat builder by trade, wooden boats, and I like to build things. Built a couple airplanes and lots of boats, and a hot rod or two over my lifespan. I build because I can't get what I want, I can't afford what's on the market, and I don't like what's on the market, and I got to spread that cost out. So
Right.
all those reasons is why I build. And also I want it to last, especially this is my home now for, who knows, maybe till the day I die.
So you live in this full time?
Full time. Yeah, have been for a year and a half now.
Okay, what are you paying rent per year?
Rent?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean if I'm on the road?
Just
Hardly anything.
What's your rent per year?
Well, there really is. It's zero unless I go to a national park or something and want to pay something. I probably didn't spend $200 in a year and a half.
Okay.
And that this year was the most because I went to some of the national parks.
Okay.
But being old, like I am, I get in free and I only have to pay half to camp.
Excellent. You mind if we take a look inside?
So it's
Okay. Okay, let's see. What would you like to
you
talk
want me out
about?
of the way. Well, bunk, obviously, with lots of storage underneath. I'm a guitar player. I've got a couple guitars and an amplifier, so I got to have room home for that. And I carry a lot of stuff under my inverters. I have two of them. They're under there, a small one and a large one. This is a dinette table, Combat 8.2. A little stool that's outside right now that I sit there, and I can also sit right here. And there's storage. Every possible inch in here has a place to put stuff.
So that's the deal. You just make sure that you can use all the space.
Yeah. Something I've learned building boats for 45 years.
There's
You
that
just
fridge.
can put a lot of stuff in. So yeah, here's the fridge.
Do you have something under this box, this wood box right here?
That's my cook stove. This just gives you a little more counter space.
Oh, so there's a stove. Okay.
Yeah. And again, everything, if you can get double use out of it, great.
Okay.
I heat with an Olympian propane when I'm lazy. And if
Okay.
it's really cold out, I heat with this little marine wood stove called a Tiny Tot.
So that's made to be on boats?
Yeah. It was designed by a lobster fisherman many, many years ago.
Tiny Tot. Where would you get one of those?
Google it and you get the address.
Okay.
They make ones just like this, same diameter, but half the size. And that would be adequate for this unit.
How do you where do you get the wood that you put inside of it?
Anywhere. That's the great thing. But I primarily use hardwood charcoal now, which are chunks about yay big. You can get it at big box stores.
Okay.
And it's dirt cheap. I'm still in the same bag I bought 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And it's a little easier, it's a little dirtier to carry around with you, but it burns longer and it's easier than messing with wood. But you can do either. You can do regular briquettes in the thing.
Oh, you just put briquettes, like charcoal briquettes in it? And how long would it take to run through a bag of briquettes if it was maybe, let's say it's going to dip down to, the mid-40s, mid-30s?
Well, out of the three things I mentioned, the briquettes are going to be the most expensive.
Okay.
And the least amount of time because of the size of them. The wood and the charcoal are about the same. If it's oak or ash wood, it'll burn about the same as the hardwood charcoal.
Okay.
The hardwood charcoal is just easier if you just buy it. I carry it in a sealed bin, and like I said, I don't use it much because I'm trying to stay where it's warm.
So you just kind of travel with the seasons, the elevation with the seasons,
Yeah.
and so that's just as a kind of a backup measure.
Yeah, and it's the great thing about wood stoves is it's dry heat. There's no other source other than electric. If you're in a unit and it's raining outside and you're breathing and you have condensation going, everything gets wet. You get mold under the bunk maybe. So you fire a wood burner stove up, and in an hour or two the whole place is down to about 15% humidity, and there's nothing like a flame in a wood burner stove to
Gotcha.
sit and be warm. Put your toes up. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, and we are standing up all the way in this,
Yeah,
by
I'm
the way.
5'11", and I built this specifically
Right.
for me. You make this any height you want. Make the radius in this arc here is about maximum for the wood I used, which is 1/4 inch only on top,
Okay.
on minimal framing.
And see, I see you got a TV there that comes down to the antenna.
Yep, TV. It's got a DVD.
Do you get channels off the air when you travel much? Is that something, or would somebody need a dish?
No. I'm for real simplicity and ease. And just with a regular digital antenna, you could even make your own antenna. They do the same thing. I get anywhere from 13 to 50 channels, depends on where I am. If there's a repeater station, and they're all over now, I can get everything. Right here in Courtside, I'm getting 13 channels.
So they still broadcast TV like old school off of antennas? They still do that?
Yep, they sure do.
Okay.
It was apparently, when this digital thing took place, the powers that fought the government said, you know, they haven't got us yet where it's told we got to pay for everything, but you can still have free television if you want it.
Right on, right on. So tell us about this area right here, and we'll...
The most important place of the rig, not because it has a great toilet, but shower was number one. I was not going to sacrifice not having an indoor shower, so if it's cold or if I just want to rinse off at the end of the day, had to be. So I designed that first and got it in here. It's self-draining. There's no plumbing to this thing. It's a pump pressurized system that I use. Mm-hmm. I can heat water or set it in the sun either way. The pump actually is outside right now.
This is wood. How come I didn't think you could put wood in the shower?
Yeah, unless you know how to do boat stuff, you really don't. People think that, but this is all epoxy coated.
Okay.
It's just like the outside interior or exterior of a boat that's going to sit in the water. That's the way it's built. It's just clear coat epoxy.
Okay.
Sanded down and a little varnish over it, satin varnish to match the satin on the inside here. And then secondary was the composting toilet.
Okay.
Which is right there. So the size of that enclosure had to accommodate. I could have a smaller shower for me to take a shower, but I needed that much room for that composting toilet.
Okay.
That's a store-bought one.
Okay.
But that's wonderful to have. Couldn't live comfortably and happy without it.
Nice. So is there anything else that we would want to add, or are we good? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, other than just, you know,
Sure.
every inch of space, utilize it if you can. Because, you know, we tend to collect crap.
Okay. How many amp hours do you think somebody needs if they're looking to put a battery system in on the solar?
Well, it depends on, again, what you're comfortable with. You know, if you want hair dryers and washing machines and everything, obviously you need, 10,000 watts of power. But I have 400, which is way more even than I need for this thing. But I can run this refrigerator 24 hours a day, not even come close. I can run a microwave if I want to, play my electric guitar. I have all LED lighting. They take nothing. I can run power tools with 400 watts and 250 amps of storage.
So you have 250 amps, so you can use half of that. Is that right? 125 usable amp hours a day?
I don't like that. I don't use that in my equations.
Okay.
You can, but if you have a good system that's wired correctly, large wire, good controller, everything close to the batteries, and all the stuff that you hear people arguing about, you can have a system that will charge in maybe 2 hours, up to 100%. And you'll use, I have never been under 90% charge in a year and a half.
So you're like almost always topped off.
I'm always stopped. I use 75% as my figure.
Oh, 75. So,
but I've never even been close there. I've never been lower than 90. That
Right.
was the figures I used when I did my wire runs and my voltage drop and all that. And that's even kind of, the industry says 50% is just fine.
Okay.
It'll still work, but the life of your battery is going to go down.
And so for the people that just see this video and don't really do a lot of battery research, let's just mention too that these are different kinds of batteries than cars batteries, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a large, well, really there's 3 on the market now that are affordable. AGMs, sealed gel, and then standard lead acid like you have in your starter battery in your car. I prefer the lead acid 6-volt systems. I can control them a little more. I understand them, and they've been very successful for me and also the clients that I've put them in other boats and stuff. So I stay with that.
Okay.
The future is going to be wide open for battery within the next 10 years.
So are you taking on any new clients if somebody wanted you to build them a trailer?
I'm retired.
There you go.
I'm done.
Well, thanks a lot, Lou. We really appreciate the walk around.
My pleasure.